to our senior project. We planned a film festival because of how universally liked the concept of films are, just like ice cream and love or whatever. Uh, People watch films to stimulate a broad range of emotions which can be channeled through things such as creativity, as alluded to by Tom Sherrack.
And Tom Sherrack, he's a very prominent figure. He is the president of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. So not only do Kobe and I have a strong belief that films can be a good way to not only just have people have a good time, but it can expose them to different creative outlets that they may have not known about before or given a chance. And it's also a way to open up people's minds to different issues around the world and different perspectives. So we want to share with you guys a trailer for one of our more popular movies that we showed and let you get a little taste of the types of creativity that people are exposed to. So this one is called Stanley Pickle, and this movie, it explored a lot of themes about life and death, recovering the past, and machines versus nature, but we'll let you guys watch that and we'll talk about it afterwards.
The film was one of our most popularly reviewed ones, and some of the responses range from people feeling sad for the main character Stanley to people feeling a little apprehensive about his next actions.
Yeah, and that was our goal from the film festival. With our inspiration we drew from Tom Sherrack about how films can affect people's emotions and perspectives, we clearly drew an emotional response from the people who saw this film. And also, we showed another film, The Big House. And this one, the first one was about life and death, but this one was more about the struggles that people in other countries feel, dealing with poverty and the wealth gap. And with our survey that we gave out, we got some more responses that we like to see because it shows that people were intellectually stimulated in ways that they may not have been during a normal lunch period.
So this is our student submissions. Our student submissions were a little bit of a change up from the dramatic things which were encompassed in our other films. And most of our student submissions were comedic, and they involved satirizing like mainstream things such as like 50 Shades of Grey and poetry.
Yeah, and the reason we wanted student submissions was we not only wanted to intellectually stimulate and let the people attending the film festival have a good time, but we hopefully wanted to inspire some students to be creative on their own and make films of their own. And we're glad that we got these submissions, and we hope to inspire other people. But like we said before, our variety is the way in which we thought we succeeded best at our film festival. We have anything from short documentaries about cocoa farmers in Ivory Coast, to animation, to foreign films, and even a little parody on gun laws. So we just had anything, and from our survey responses, we were glad to see that people looked at these films in more than just a surface level. They really tossed it over inside. But the audience we were reaching for was people like ourselves, me and Kobe, who may not,
I've appreciated the arts as much.
yeah, who don't appreciate art as much. Well, we used to, like now we have a appreciation, because personally, I always thought of movies as just a form of entertainment, kind of like pulp. But then I took a class earlier this year called Culture and Film, and that really changed my mind on the power of movies. And every day in that class, we would have, well, every day we'd finish a movie. We'd have long discussions about the themes and topics in those movies. And we thought that we could help expose other students to that type of discussion. And those types of discussion we realized were possible with movies, but also with all other types of art. But we chose to go with movies because it's fun, it's easily accessible for people, and it's more comfortable and private. And yeah, like we've been saying, we just want to hammer home that these films can have great benefits for people. If they're having a rough day, they were invited to just come on down to room 111. We were very relaxed, and everyone felt really comfortable in this environment, and people were having fun, having a good time. And if we could just simply entertain people and also expose them to different viewpoints, we thought that we succeeded, and we did that.
Organizing this event became a question of how to present, and we did so by advertising through a poster and Sean's commercial, It's Not Anya, and we wanted to create a laid-back environment where nobody would feel subdued about their emotions when watching the film, whether the emotions range from exasperated to laughter.
Oh, and then, like, I think one of the biggest things we learned was that it's good to have incentives for people coming. So we wanted to make it as convenient as possible to get to our film festival. So we made it at school, because it's hard for people to do it after school. You have to drive, you have to organize, you might have sports. So first off, we made it at school. And then second off, it's high school students, so we provided free food. That brought a lot of students. And yeah, we let people just be themselves, and it was just fun. And lastly, we learned the power of film and art. I was expecting people to come, but I didn't realize that we would have like over 40 or 50 people like we did. And it was nice to see my friends there, but what really made me, and I'm sure Kobe, proud was we saw a bunch of students that we didn't even know existed. They were because it's such a common thing for students to be like, oh, I don't know anyone there, I'm not gonna go. But we were glad that we were able to create an environment where people who might have been normally uncomfortable were free to go in there, and they had fun, they were laughing, they were like being scared, and like it was a great experience. And we're glad that we just got to create that communal experience for everyone to share.
With the film festival, we really put together a lot of teamwork and organizing stuff, getting the room reserved, and
yeah, and I guess our biggest success was bringing people from all around the school to join, and also the conversations that we sparked between people. Like afterwards, people were talking to me about the movies, and I'm sure they were talking to their friends, but it was just really nice to have people talking about topics such as life and death and poverty and things like that. And it was on their own time. It wasn't forced upon them by a teacher or anything like that. Students willingly were exploring these topics, and we were just very proud of that. So, thank you.
Also part of their rubric asks, has a comprehension category, so if we can have 3 to 4 questions specific about their project, we could hear Kobe answer some and Sean answer some as well.
Gary?
What would you have done differently?
I think what we would have done differently is advertising like student submissions for films, because we only received 2 films.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. We like exactly what he said, we wanted more student submissions, so we wanted to inspire students themselves to be more creative instead of just like looking at the creativity of others. Although that's good, I guess the way to fix that would have been to advertise earlier, but like, yeah, we didn't advertise early enough to the film creators, I guess, so, yeah.
Andrew?
What was the most difficult thing that came across from this experience?
The most difficult thing was probably just that second day when we had to move everything to Shinjuan's room, but that ended up working out fine, and everyone got the word that we were upstairs. So I guess like what Ian was talking about in Sage, there's different things that you can't control, but if you work together within your group and other people who are willing to help, then things can turn out well.
What kind of criteria were you looking for, and how did you pick out the short films that you eventually settled on?
Well, we started out, well personally I started out choosing films that won different awards at Sundance, and through that I gathered a couple films like Stanley Pickle, for example, and things like that. And we wanted to have variety, so Stanley Pickle had the theme of life and death, so I wanted to keep choosing different themes. So I went for that sort of theme, and then I wanted to go for foreign movies, and then animation. So I guess the criteria was just to get the broadest range of genres as possible.
Just one last comment. You know, being able to be there and watch the short films myself, you guys have inspired me to have. I think I'd like to have like a short film Friday in my classes next year, where every Friday, instead of having a poem that day, we kind of have just a short film, and I can kind of pick things that are small enough, because some of the things that we're looking at specifically, there was the one, I think it was a French film, specifically, it is all the same story. And that's kind of what we talk about in Yale Lake quite a bit, is that yes, we read different books and watch different movies and things, but we're all talking about the same story over and over and over again. And that one film, which is about 9 minutes long, captured that beautifully, you know? So being able to have that and make it purposeful and still have kind of fun and spark the conversations that get us thinking about art, film, art in the written word as well, I think can help us too. So thank you so much. Nice job.